Have you been wanting to get into the competitive shooting scene, but you're just unsure of yourself? Hopefully, these next 5 tips will help alleviate some of those fears and get you to just take that first step and join and get your first match under your belt. Tip number one is you have to put your pride aside. All too often, people let their ego get in the way. And every time someone asks me for advice before their first match, I always say, you got to put your pride aside. I hear all too often people say, I'm just not ready. Well, of course you're not. And you're never going to be ready until you actually get your foot through the door and you start competing. So, the biggest thing that I see is a lot of us watch YouTube influencers and we see how good these guys are, how fast they move, how accurate they move. And then we try to duplicate some of that stuff, and it can be a little discouraging. You just have to embrace the fact that you're not going to be on that level. These guys are professionals. They've been doing it their entire lives. They're grandmasters. If you try to compare how you shoot and move to how they shoot and move, it's going to be a night and day difference. And yes, it's going to be a little intimidating, and quite frankly, you're not being realistic. So just understand that you're going to make mistakes, but that's how we learn. You just have to put your pride aside, sign up for your first local match, and just get going. Tip number two, get familiar with the range commands. So a lot of the times at local matches, when I see a new shooter, I can usually tell that they haven't shot before because they get to the starting point and they look confused, or they're fumbling around with their firearm. They're not understanding what the range commands are. They're very simple. And the good thing is that you can practice them at home and you can do dry fire because, again, they're just range commands. So usually what you're going to hear, and these are pretty universal, but the verbiage might change from club to club. You're going to hear range is hot, eyes and ears. You're then going to hear load and make ready. After that, you're going to hear, are you ready? Then you're going to hear stand by, and then you're going to hear the timer go off. You are then going to shoot the stage, and when you're done, you're going to hear some other range commands. You're going to hear, if you are finished, unload, show clear. At that point, you're going to drop your magazine, you're going to unload, you're going to show the SO your empty chamber. He is then going to say, if clear, slide forward, pull the trigger, in which you would do with your muzzle facing down range in a safe direction, typically to the berm. At that point, you are going to holster your firearm, and then you're going to hear the SO say range is clear. At that point, they're going to go down range, they're going to total up your points, they're going to collect the time, and then you are done. And then you can get the jitterbugs out. Tip number three, and probably one of the most important tips, is you shouldn't be focused on winning, losing, or where you place. Probably shouldn't be focused on that for your first dozen matches or so. You should really be focused on finding the sweet spot between speed and accuracy. Now, I say speed and accuracy because you want to be able to formulate a baseline and build off of that. If you go out there and you shoot a 20-second course in 60 seconds, but you get 0 points down, well, that's great that you shot all A zones, but unfortunately you did it at a slow speed, and pretty much that's not helping you to get better. I'm not telling you to go out there and run through it and miss all your shots either. What I am saying is go at a pace that's comfortable for you, but somewhere where you can formulate a foundation and a baseline that you can now assess yourself and build off of. Tip number four, and this is probably one of the best advice that I ever got from my mentor. When I started shooting, he would always tell me to squad with the best shooters. Now, he was familiar with a lot of the local clubs. So when I would tell him, like, I'm going to go shoot this match or that match, he would say squad and squad 1 and watch this guy, or squad and squad 5 and watch these 2 guys. What that did was it allowed me to get mental reps in, and it allowed me to see what right looks like. If you squad with average shooters or new shooters or shooters that aren't as good as you, you're not necessarily seeing what right looks like. So what I was doing was I was squadding with some of the best shooters in the area that I shoot in, and I was watching them, lots of mental reps, when they reload, how they stage plan, how many steps they are taking. And I'm just watching them navigate and how they operate, and it was helping me to get better. All mental reps. Tip number 5 is you do not need to go out and spend thousands of dollars on a fancy new pistol. The gun is not going to make you a better shooter. Sight picture, grip, footwork, transitions, stage planning. That is where you need to put your focus on, and that's going to help you become a new shooter. Now, when you get to a point where you're comfortable and you know where you stand and you are improving, yes, a nice shooting pistol is going to help enhance that. But again, the pistol is not going to make you a great shooter. Now, I shoot with the Bull Armory TAC Pro. I have a 507 comp on here. It does have the V8 ports. Now, this is my baby, but this is not where I started. I started with a Glock 19. And I currently carry a Shadow Systems MR920 that I shoot with in CCP division. But again, this is not where I started. Now again, this is a fancy pistol. It has a awesome trigger. It's super flat, and I love it. Actually got me to master class, got me 2 match bumps in carry optics, and this is probably my favorite gun. But again, this is not what you need to start off with. Get something that you're comfortable with and then build from there, but focus on the basics. Hopefully this video has given you some inspiration and motivation. If you want to know where to find local matches, go to Practice Score. That's going to be your one-stop shop. Sign up and just dive right in. Put your fears away. Go out there, have fun, embrace being uncomfortable. Just embrace knowing that you're going to make mistakes. If this video's helped motivate you to jump right in and get into the competitive shooting scene, I would love to hear it in the comments. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Good luck. Stay tuned for more videos.